Lackland Air Force Base is louder than you expected. Not in a chaotic way. In a directed way. Every sound has a source and every source has a purpose and every purpose is aimed at you and the 51 other people standing in a line that isn't straight enough yet. The Texas heat is physical. It sits on you like something with weight. Your bag is on the ground beside your feet. You were told to put it there. You were told where to stand. You were told how to hold your hands and where to aim your eyes and what to do when addressed. You are doing all of these things. You are not doing any of them well enough yet. The training instructor in front of your flight moves with an authority that is completely different from any authority you've encountered in civilian life. It isn't loud in the way you expected. It is precise. Absolute. Each instruction lands like something that was always going to happen and simply needed you to arrive to trigger it. You arrived 6 hours ago. You are the least capable person on this base. You understand this. You start from zero. Stage 1, Basic Military Training, Building the Foundation. Basic military training at Lackland runs 8.5 weeks. Your training instructor is Technical Sergeant Morales. She is 34. She came up through aircraft maintenance and cross-trained into military training 3 years ago. She has a quality you'll spend weeks trying to name before you find the right word: certainty. She is certain in every action, every instruction, every correction. She is never uncertain. You find this, ultimately, more orienting than intimidating. The days start before the sky does. Reveille, PT, breakfast in an organized rush, instruction, drill, more instruction, more drill. The schedule fills every available moment because empty moments are where civilians live and you are no longer a civilian, you are becoming something else, and the becoming requires constant input. You make mistakes. Every day. Uniform infractions. Drill errors. A response delivered at the wrong volume or with the wrong posture. Each mistake is corrected immediately. Each correction is specific. You learn that the corrections are not punishments. They are instructions delivered at the speed that urgency requires. You stop experiencing them as attacks. You start experiencing them as information. Your flight has 52 members. You sleep in the same dormitory, eat at the same tables, run the same routes. The person in the rack beside yours is an airman named Tillman. He's from Kentucky. He has a background in electrical work and a stillness under pressure that you notice in week 2 and find useful to observe. Tillman doesn't panic. You study how he doesn't panic. By week 4, you panic less. Stage 2, Technical Training, Learning your actual job. You graduate basic. The ceremony is brief. The feeling is not. You ship to your technical training school. Your specialty is aircraft maintenance, specifically avionics systems on transport aircraft. The training will take 22 weeks. This is where you learn your actual function in the Air Force. Not how to march. How to think about complex systems. How to diagnose a problem you've never seen before using principles that apply to every problem in your specialty. How to document, how to inspect, how to sign your name to work that someone will fly 10,000 feet above the ground trusting that you got it right. That last part lands in week 3 and never fully leaves. Your primary instructor is a master sergeant named Okafor. Okafor has been in avionics for 16 years. He knows aircraft systems the way some people know their own homes, in the dark, without thinking, by feel. He teaches with the specific method of someone who has taught this material many times and understands where new technicians consistently fail. He anticipates your confusion. He corrects it before you know you're confused. You realize you are being shaped into something specific and functional. You lean into it. Stage 3, First Duty Station, the real world. You arrive at your first duty station, a major transport wing at a base in the Pacific, as an airman first class. The flight line is enormous. The aircraft are enormous. The people moving around them know what they're doing and move with the compressed efficiency of people for whom this is simply Tuesday. You know the theory. You don't know this Tuesday yet. Your direct supervisor is a staff sergeant named Ramirez. Ramirez is 26. He's been in the Air Force for 7 years and has the particular patience of someone who was once in your exact position and remembers it clearly enough to be useful. He doesn't do your work for you. He positions you to do it and watches you do it. The first time you complete an avionics check without assistance and without error, he looks at the documentation, checks your work against the aircraft's log, and hands it back. Good, he says. That one word from Ramirez on that specific afternoon is the first professional validation you've received that felt like it had real weight behind it. You don't forget it. Stage 4. Senior Airman/Staff Sergeant. Finding your level. 3 years in. You are a Staff Sergeant. You have a junior airman. His name is Park. He's 20. He's technically competent and attitudinally still adjusting to the reality that the Air Force is not what the recruiter described, which is true of every person who joins and takes about 18 months to metabolize. You remember Ramirez watching you work. You watch Park work. Not over his shoulder. From a position that can intervene if necessary but that allows him to develop the self-sufficiency that the job requires. When he makes an error, you correct it the way Morales corrected you. Immediately, specifically, without additional weight. Park improves faster than you expected. You take this as information about your effectiveness as a supervisor. You deploy for the first time. A forward operating location in a region you were briefed on in classified settings. The conditions are harder than your permanent duty station. The tempo is higher. The margin for error is smaller because everything is smaller. Less support, fewer people, more direct consequence if a system fails. You work 18-hour days for 3 weeks without complaint. Not because you're not tired. You're exhausted. Because complaining requires energy you don't have and accomplishes nothing that your situation requires. You complete the deployment. You come back changed in small, specific ways. The work feels different to you after. More real. Less abstract. Stage 5. Technical Sergeant/Master Sergeant. Real authority. You are 31. You are a Master Sergeant. You supervise a section of 24 people. Multiple ranks. Multiple experience levels. Multiple personalities in a confined professional environment that requires them to function together with precision. Your section chief briefed you on your first day. You're the NCO layer. Between the officers and the airmen. That means both sides think you exist for them. You exist for the mission. You carry this daily. The officers in your unit vary. Your squadron commander is a lieutenant colonel named Chen who came up through fighter aviation and has the instinctive decisiveness of a pilot combined with the organizational intelligence of someone who has learned to lead larger groups. You respect her. She respects your technical knowledge. The working relationship functions. A newer captain named Walsh is still finding his footing. Good instincts, occasionally uncertain execution. You support him the way Ramirez supported you, by positioning him to succeed without making his dependence visible to the people he leads. This is NCO work. It is rarely credited. It is essential. An airman in your section fails a drug test. The process that follows is difficult, procedurally precise, and necessary. You conduct it with complete integrity and complete professionalism. The airman is separated from the Air Force. You write your section of the documentation with specific accuracy. Afterward, in the parking lot at 9 p.m., you sit in your car for 15 minutes. You think about the airman, 22 years old. His file, which you know by now in detail. Then you go home. The job requires both the process and the humanity. You hold both. Stage 6. Senior Master Sergeant/Chief Master Sergeant. The upper tier. You are 39. You are a Senior Master Sergeant, recently selected for Chief. The Chief Master Sergeant rank represents less than 1% of the enlisted force. You have been building toward this for 20 years without allowing yourself to state it as a goal, because goals stated become pressure that distorts the work. The work was always the goal. The rank is the record of the work. At this level, your decisions affect hundreds of people across multiple squadrons. Training programs. Deployment rotations. Performance evaluations that shape careers. The culture of entire units, what is acceptable, what is expected, what is not tolerated, radiates from the NCO's senior leadership in ways that officers sometimes don't see clearly. You see it clearly. You have been inside it from the beginning. A situation emerges in one of your subordinate sections. A technical sergeant is being informally undermined by a peer, a pattern of small actions that individually are defensible and collectively constitute a systematic effort to damage the technical sergeant's standing. You identify it 3 weeks before it becomes visible to anyone above you. You address it directly, privately, and definitively. The pattern stops. The technical sergeant's career trajectory continues undamaged. No documentation. No official process. Just a conversation in a room where you made something clear to someone who needed it to be clear. This is also your job. It always has been. Stage 7. The full weight of service. You are 46. You are a Chief Master Sergeant with 26 years of service. You sit in a briefing room at a major command headquarters advising a 2-star general on enlisted force management. The general listens to you with the specific attention that senior officers give to chiefs, the recognition that your 26 years of ground-level knowledge is not replicable from above. You speak with the authority of that knowledge. You speak plainly. The general takes notes. You think sometimes about Lackland. 52 people standing in a line that wasn't straight enough. Texas heat. Technical Sergeant Morales moving through the flight with that absolute certainty. You have become, you realize, a version of Morales. Not the same. She shaped you in a specific moment for a specific purpose. What you've become is broader, shaped by 26 years of specific moments across every level of the service. The shaping cost things. Assignments that moved your family 3 times in 5 years. A period of deployment tempo that left your children with a father they knew mostly through phone calls and care packages. The particular exhaustion of carrying responsibility for many people continuously for many years. You paid these costs. You would pay them again. Not because the Air Force required them, though it did. Because the work was real. The aircraft that flew because your section maintained them were real. The airmen who grew into NCOs because you invested in them are real. The mission is abstract until it isn't. And in 26 years, you have seen enough of what it isn't to understand what it is. A young airman is waiting outside the conference room. Fresh out of technical training. First duty station. That particular combination of readiness and uncertainty that you remember from the inside. He doesn't know you. He sees a chief and straightens up. You stop. Where are you headed, you ask? He tells you. His section. His shop. His specialty. You ask him 2 questions about his training. He answers well. Good, you say. He stands a little taller. You walk on. That word, from you on this specific afternoon, may carry its own weight for him. You know this because you know what Ramirez's good did for you. You walk toward the next meeting. 26 years of good behind you. Whatever comes next, ahead.